Chat, we got so much to talk about. Is Lex back? Yes, she's just not here right now. We have so much to cover, chat. We have so much. It's epic, chat. Holy shit. I lost my mom. Thank you so much for the gifted sub, by the way. Level 4 Golden Kappa train in the chat. That's basically crazy, and no one's ever done anything like that before. I don't think Twitch has any even like parameters to even control this stream. I think it's going out of control. Christmas 0815, thank you for the prime. Guys, it's official. Christmas has subscribed. Santa has joined the Peathan Online community. LED Light, thank you for the gifted sub, by the way. Okay, great. Thank you for that. So listen, chat. First of all, video games. I played Star Wars Outlaws, okay? I got it. I played it. It's good. It's actually really good. I like it. I just got to this part where you can fly around the spaceship, and I like it. It is woke. I actually liked stupid Star Wars game. It's exactly what I want. It's so stupid. You go around, you collect, like, plasta steel and transpara steel and all these stupid Star Wars minerals and elements. And you can use that to, like, upgrade your gun and stupid shit and stuff like that. My wife and I love you for time catching a stream.
I'm gay.
Thank
Logan
you.
Paul is my savior.
Thank you for being here.
KSI is my favorite.
Congratulations.
I want to watch Lil Nas X. I like what's on the trending page.
Prawn is good. Beat my meat.
Lock me down. Inject me. Inject again. I'm gay, trans, and I am boosted. Fauci is my savior. Hillary is woke. She-Hulk is my favorite movie.
Whoa, that was a crazy timing for the Taco Bell. Ectoplasmic Voido, thank you so much for the tier 1, by the way. The gifted sub. Thank you for that. Oh, God, sorry. I'm dancing Peter all over the screen. Who's Fauci? Bro.
So a stick bug outside of my door yesterday. Why the would you do that to me? That is very rude of you, but not cool.
Anthony Fauci? Donald Trump's, like, head of what was it HHS, or he was just like the chief leader behind Operation Warp Speed, head of the CDC, is that what it was? Anthony Fauci does not review music. He's chief medical advisor to the president from 2021 to, oh, that was under Joe Biden. He was Donald Trump's head of CDC, I'm pretty sure, right? Fauci was a member of the White House coronavirus task force. Okay. He wasn't. Top of the morning to everyone in chat.
What's up, Pimen? It's been a while since joined the stream, but I'm here for the funny breakdown as a game. Anyways, love you and chat minore, tre bisexual, pride.
Thank you, Purple Witch, for the 3 months. Thank you so much for that. Okay, anyway. Someone asking who fucking Anthony Fauci is broke my brain. Because we're just like so many years removed from COVID at this point that it's just like not even relevant anymore. Like, you don't even need to know who that is. They don't teach that in school anymore because of woke. Anyway. So. New Kamala Harris interview tonight. What did I tell you, chat? The Fox News talking point of she doesn't talk to the press only had so much longevity to it. Of course, they're going to keep saying it after this. They are going to keep saying she doesn't talk to the media. This will not be enough. Comrade Kamala. So that talking point, they're just going to keep repeating it because, you know, one interview is not going to be enough to undo all that. Especially because I don't know if there's like a follow-up interview. I don't know when the next one is. She's also doing it with Tim Walz, which I think is controversial, but obviously the right move for the campaign. You want the most attention on you as possible, and Tim Walz brings a lot of attention, so I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. These are two relatively unknown candidates, and having them talk to the media together helps people understand them both at the same time. So this is fine. This is good. What's bad is everything they're saying. Let's hear.
Generally speaking.
First of all, it's Dana Bash, one of the biggest Zionists in mainstream media, and I'm not even joking. Her husband was literally a CIA agent. Attack of the Nerd, thank you so much for the gifted sub, by the way. Thank you. I appreciate that. And this is the first clip released from the interview. It airs tonight in about an hour, and we're going to watch it when it comes out live. So, very exciting. But first things first, Dana Bash, huge L, Dana Fash, creepo.
How should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here, in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed.
And I love the police.
You mentioned the Green New Deal.
I never supported it. What are we watching? This is the first clip of the Kamala Harris interview, the first interview she's doing with the media. This is super important. This is going to define the next, 2-3 weeks of media narrative. At least. And I'm honestly not expecting much to change, chat. I'm genuinely expecting more of the same kind of media coverage we've seen since even before the DNC. Bordazar. Thank you guys for the level 5 hype train, by the way. Thank you so much. Choo choo. We got Golden Kappa in there. And late save Twitch emote. We got it, chat. We did it. We did it, Reddit. Choo choo, hype chain. Anyway, I clicked the thing and it automatically filled that in that chat message in, but choo choo. We did it, Facebook. I like that. Look at this video. I don't have a funny message to go with it. Hang on, I'll come back to this. This is a short clip. Okay. What is this?
You got your rapist, homo thug, blackballs over there.
What the hell are you talking about?
We family, brother. You got your rapist, homo thug, blackballs over there.
What the hell are you talking
about? Okay. That's a great little clip. Anyway, the first look at the Kamala Harris interview, she's already talking shit about the Green New Deal.
I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics.
I really hate. I did see this guy sing to Kamala Harris. Not Obama.
President Obama, can I sing for you?
Go ahead.
We are the new Americana. High on legal marijuana. Raise on Biggie and Nirvana. We are the new Americana.
That was outstanding.
He got Obama.
That include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe.
What does this have to do with the Green New Deal? Like, are you saying like we've done it once, we've done sweeping legislation once with the Inflation Reduction Act, so we can do the Green New Deal? Personally, that's not what it sounds like. But also, again, circling back to like Joe Biden's signature economic accomplishment that genuinely isn't that good for people, isn't gonna help you. You need to break away from Joe Biden. You have to escape his clutches.
Around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value...
Oh, God. And then she starts talking about the border. It's like, why did you even bring up the Green New Deal? Why did you even talk about it in this conversation? Like, now you're talking about the border? Girl, we're talking about the economy, or we're talking about the climate, you freak. And on climate is a Democrat exclusive issue. Her being like, we can tackle climate change, but we can also tackle the problem at the border. That's crazy. That doesn't work. There isn't a voter who has both of those things like on the top of their mind.
Value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminals.
Like, she's trying to make an argument for her own competence, which is just kind of embarrassing too. Like, doubling down by saying, like, no, I am competent because I will shut down the border or whatever. I'll do this, like, insane border bill. And that's why I'm competent. It's like, what the fuck?
Organization.
That's why I can also do, not the Green New Deal, but some other vague climate legislation that won't create as many jobs as the Green New Deal. Like, Hassan has said this in the past, and he's right. You should talk about the Green New Deal like a jobs program, because it is. It literally is. It's a training and jobs program. It's an economic package. It's like, I don't know.
Of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings
Both
across.
Kamala and Trump suck donkey balls, but I feel like voting third party is kind of pointless. That's because it is pointless.
It's our border. My values have not changed.
My values have not changed. Just crazy. This is bad. Notice how Dana Bash had no problem continually interrupting JD Vance, but she allows Kamala to speak uninterrupted for, what, like 30 seconds of this clip? That's so funny. They act like they just saw the whole interview when they definitely didn't. Okay, so, by the way, Dr. Phil Donald Trump interview, he said some nutso stuff in it. We'll get to that, certainly. JD Vance was booed.
So Vance
at a firefighter union convention, or I'm sorry, just a firefighters convention, but they're union guys, and was booed because they know that the Republican Party is not pro-union.
Addressed the firefighters union convention in Boston, and Walz spoke to that same group yesterday. One of 2 major unions, I should point out, that has yet to endorse in the presidential race. Talk about the difference both in their message and in the reception.
The politics of organized labor have been really interesting in this race because what we saw in this...
That's a rare firefighter political W. Firefighters are usually so pro-cop, it's insane. When it's like, dude, guys, you do way more than them. It's crazy how they have this, like, allegiance to cops. It's got to be, like, indoctrination in, like, how they train you or something. But, like, it's like, no, guys, you are the ones that do way, like, more serious shit. It's, like, 10 times more dangerous. Actual heroes. They save people instead of killing them. Come on.
This race, what we saw in the last race, frankly,
they used to do cop shit. Oh, for sure. For sure. There's hella corrupt firefighters back in the day. And I'm sure there still are to some degree.
In many cases, union leadership backing Democrats and union members in some cases voting for Trump. It's always been an area where he's been stronger than traditional Republicans have been. Here, in the case of this dueling appearances at this firefighters union convention, we saw Tim Walz give a directly pro-labor address yesterday. Now, both he and Vance included elements of their own personal story, their own personal experiences with firefighters, with EMTs, tried to kind of humanize their messages.
Yeah, he's like a guy from a town of 400, and this is a Yale graduate venture capitalist. Like, who do you think is more in touch with the fucking firefighters in their community?
I think it was very clear that the Walz approach yesterday was more effective in the room than the J.D. Vance approach today.
Yeah, I wonder why.
But don't take my word for it. Let's listen to some of both men over the last 2 days.
President Trump and I are proud to be the most pro-worker Republican ticket in history. And I want to talk about why we're fighting for working people, why we're going to fight for unions and non-union alike.
But I can promise...
They were straight up booing him. Like, of course, a couple people were clapping, but they were he had to, like, yell over the booing.
You this. When Vice President Harris and I win this election, we'll have your back just like you've had ours this entire time.
Yeah, weird. That doesn't sound the same.
So, two things can be true at once here, Chris. Donald Trump can have a better relationship with union member voters around the country than many previous Republican candidates, but can also pretty regularly say things that drive a wedge between he and their support, like when he cheered on Elon Musk for his own union-busting behavior in that interview that they did on X.
I mean, they literally laughed about it.
I think that's some of what's coming back to bite J.D. Vance, as he has to kind of go
firing an entire staff of people striking.
Into the lion's den here and make a pitch to a crowd that clearly seems to be leaning one direction, regardless of what their official endorsement's been thus far.
Wow. So yeah, J.D. Vance was booed. He was booed as soon as he came on stage as well, not just when he said that. So it was not a friendly room for sure. In other great Trump campaign news. Arlington altercation. Trump staff push cemetery worker to film. This did happen. Donald Trump went to the Arlington National Cemetery and took some pictures, which is illegal. You're not supposed to use military cemeteries for your political campaign. And allegedly a woman was trying to enforce that rule, someone who worked at the cemetery, and a campaign staffer pushed her out of the way. She's not pressing charges, allegedly, for fear of retaliation by the Trump campaign and his fans. So that's normal and cool. He made a TikTok at the cemetery? Oh, no.
After mounting pressure, tonight, Kamala Harris will finally sit down for a formal interview,
okay, I'm not
taking
talking about
questions on CNN.
Here we go.
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. It could be that post-convention bump, which we frequently do see. It's pretty calibrate and recalibrate and...
Wait, U.S. Army confirms... Oh, U.S. Army confirms Trump staffer pushed Arlington staffer before filming TikTok ad. Oh my god, that's nuts, dude. The thumbs up. They're all doing it. They're all doing a thumbs up. Why are they all How does this not look so bad? Oh, and he posted it on TikTok. This is a crazy picture. I've never seen it in this high resolution before.
We lost 13 great people. What a horrible
He filmed a
day.
fucking TikTok. No way. You can't do this. It's sad the media won't show this. That's so awesome.
We didn't lose one person in 18 months.
Ah! The way he looked at it. Dude, that's how he looks at his hot dogs when he's about to gorge on that shit. His well-done steak with ketchup. Yeah, what is that Twilight music for real? Who is on their media team?
That disaster, the leaving of Afghanistan.
What?
We lost 13 great people.
That's nuts.
What a horrible day it was.
It's so funny that this TikTok doesn't... Whoa. I'm gonna save... What is that picture? Dude, he looks crazy. I love that the TikTok with this funny, sad Twilight music doesn't show this picture. Interesting.
Don't be rude.
Doesn't exactly fit the vibe, does it? Like, he's smarter than this. He knows this is a bad idea, doesn't he? Giving Dawson's Creek? I know. Like, Grandpa. What are we doing? Not to mention that's illegal. Yeah, the Arlington staff members reportedly declined to press charges against Trump because it could subject her to retaliation from Trump supporters. Not just supporters. Himself as well. I wouldn't be surprised. That's awesome. This is kind of lib shit, to be honest. But it's funny. I think it's super funny.
And find its sea legs after Kamala Harris became the nominee following President Biden. That was the convention. So we're seeing polls finally shake out, take a breath, and see where things stand after really a whirlwind of a month, maybe 5 weeks.
Here we go.
Themselves. Yeah, we're essentially seeing the Trump campaign put the blame on other folks and not the campaign or the candidate themselves. The campaign coming out and saying that Arlington National, an official for at Arlington National Cemetery.
Didn't the Trump staffer say something like the person was like suffering a mental health episode or something?
Is actually the one who is responsible for this situation. Trump's campaign communications director, Stephen Chung, said there was no altercation as was described and suggested in some reports.
Yeah, sure, they
he
made
said,
it up.
quote, the fact is that a private photographer was permitted on the premises, and for whatever reason, an unnamed individual clearly suffering from a mental health episode.
Yeah, there you go.
Decided to physically block members of President Trump's team during
Suffering a mental health episode. Hello?
a very solemn ceremony. Interesting to see how this story continues to shake out, and as more details are reported, the New York Times did report last night that they spoke to a family member of one of the fallen soldiers whose grave was documented in Trump's photos, and those folks had expressed dismay with the fact that their family member was featured in the back of this. It's going to be really interesting to see how this one pans.
Oh no, the family member of the... No, oh no.
A family member of one of the fallen soldiers whose grave was documented in Trump's photos, and those folks had expressed dismay with the fact that
that's crazy. Well, yeah, your dead family member is being used to promote the Trump campaign. Like, people who love the military as like LARPers, of course, vote for Trump, but like actual military families don't like this. They do not like this. Like, this is a bad look. And kind of a media shitstorm for the Trump campaign.
I'm in agony.
It's bad. This is bad.
A family member was featured in the back of...
Like, this is so much worse than the manufactured Tim Walz lied about his military service shit. And it kind of undoes and, like, backfires on that whole fucking narrative. It makes them look so petty. Makes them look really fucking greedy. Like... It's so... People do not like this, dude. Trump fans don't care, of course. But, like, average people, average voters, this is just bad. Like, it's kind of lib shit, but it's just, like, of the lib shit that it can be, it's on the bad side. Because also they don't have anything else to be talking about. Like, the Trump campaign doesn't want to talk about its policies at all because they're all terrible and unelectable. When you actually, like, explain them or say them out loud. And so they have to do this, like, media game, and they're caught, again, just completely with their pants down.
Ethan, what do you think of people on death row getting a last meal? They're allowed to get whatever they want, so oftentimes they get luxurious meals or sweets. Imo, it feels like you're treating a killer. Sorry for being off topic.
Bro, I don't care. It's like a symbolic thing. If you're gonna kill someone, at least give him some spaghetti. Listen, I don't really believe that the way our death penalty system is structured works at all, or is, like, effective or morally defensible in any way. It's like we've literally executed multiple innocent people in what is ultimately a painful, inhumane process. Lethal injection is also inhumane. It is not a fucking valid way of execution. So, like, there's so much much that's wrong with it. Other than the, you know, last meal stuff. Firing squad was the least painful? Okay, I don't know about that. Source, I thought about it a little bit. It's also more expensive to execute someone than house them. Yeah, death row is more expensive than your average prison. Your average prisoner. By, like, it's like twice as expensive at least. It's really fucking expensive to put someone on death row and then kill them. It's just like, it's so nonsensical. And in some cases, obviously, I understand the legal and the moral argument. And of course, there's, like, edge cases and outliers that, like, you can consider, but just, like, systematically as, like, a principle, I'm just not really pro death penalty. Of course, there are examples that make sense of like heinous, insane people, but like as a principle, it's just not. I think it demonstrably doesn't work. It doesn't prevent crime. Like, yeah, Sean has a good video about the death penalty. Would you kill Hitler as a baby? No. Let's continue.
With this, so it's going to be really interesting to see how this one pans out, and definitely not the headlines that former President Trump wants to be seeing as we get closer to Election Day.
Yeah, we'll definitely be seeing more coverage there. Now, House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan is once again going after the judge who oversaw the Trump hush money trial in New York. He has issued a subpoena to the company that employs his daughter. What's Jordan after here?
Yeah, I think a lot of it is just as the Capitol Hill continuing to sort of be a defender of former President Trump as he faces these legal entanglements. His sentencing in that hush money case is coming up. It's going to be right now, at least it's set for September. We'll see if it gets pushed back at all. But I think that this is just more as we've seen of how
it very likely will get pushed back. I killed baby Vegeta. Trump's hush money trial sentencing will probably get pushed to after the election for sure. I don't expect that to actually like go through at all. But it'll be interesting.
Republicans particularly launching different investigations and different investigative avenues in sort of veiled support of the.
I guess they only talked about the Arlington thing for like a second, and now they're talking about Jim Jordan. I hate Jim Jordan so much. He's such a creep. I'm bad 1472. Thank you for the prime. Thank you. Thank you. Baby Hitler dies by my hand. Okay, listen. If you think that Hitler was, like, born evil, you misunderstand Hitler greatly. And the circumstances that arose to the Holocaust. Like, it's not an anomaly. It's not... He's not Voldemort, chat. There were material conditions that led to that. To the Third Reich. Very specific, very calculated, and what we now know as fascist. I mean, they called themselves fascists, but you know. Why can't you, if you're gonna go back in time, kill adult Hitler? Kill adult Hitler in 1939, right before he gains power. The fuck? You don't have to kill him when he's a baby. Do Sniper Elite and shoot him in the balls. It's such a funny hypothetical. Stop talking to your fans like they're children. I'm just joking around. I'm just chilling. I'm not trying to be mean. But the baby Hitler thing also just reminds me of the comic where the Punisher Ghost Rider goes back in time and tries to kill baby Thanos. It's literally a Marvel comic. He tries to kill baby Thanos, but then he can't do it. And he raises him to be like the Punisher Thanos, Ghost Rider, Cosmic Thanos. It's a weird comic. It's kind of cool. But I think Thanos ends up like... He can't do it, not because he's too powerful. No, he doesn't beat... he doesn't lose a fight to baby Thanos. He just like can't... He can't bring himself... The Punisher in that timeline is still Frank Castle. He's just Cosmic Punisher. So he still can't bring himself... Ow! He still can't bring himself to kill a baby. I like Cosmic Ghost Rider. It's a cool concept. It's weird as fuck. But they make him like he's like an astronaut style. He's like got an astronaut design, and then he goes to space. It's like it's almost like Deadpool coded. I'm sure there's like overlap of the writers. Here, I was trying to find a good picture of his design. See? Cosmic Ghost Rider, bro. Sick. He's cool. His head is contained in a little jar. It usually has a flame on the outside, though. Oh, yeah, here he is with baby Thanos. Look, this is what I was talking about. This is what the baby Hitler conversation reminds me of. Because it literally is like, it's like thinking about reality like a comic book. That rules. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He still has a motorcycle in space, by the way. He does. He does still have a motorcycle in space. He's so ugly? No, dude, he's cool as fuck. Mandalorian? Yeah, kind of. It's older than the Mandalorian, though. I wouldn't be surprised if it was inspired by that story, though, to some degree. The baby is ugly? Oh, yeah, the baby is ugly. That's true. Personally, I don't see a point in killing Hitler today if he were still alive as an old man, but my aunt has said she would. I mean, that's just like a argument of, like, retaliation. You know what I mean? If he was still alive today. That would be such a miracle of science. Cyber Hitler. Yeah, that's just revenge. Which, like, I don't really judge. I think you should kill elderly Hitler. I think you should kill elderly Hitler. That's my take. Bold, I know.
The former president to try.
Oh wait, I don't want to talk about Jim Jordan. Fuck Jim Jordan. I don't care about Jim Jordan. Oh yeah, Trump was getting weird on Truth Social.
The former president.
The Trump campaign, guys, is really spiraling. Would you guys kill baby Trump?
In the United States, who wants to be the next president, is now directly spreading the slogans of the conspiracy cult QAnon, as well as posting a crude sexist.
I love now. No, by the way, Chad, this is 11 hours ago, not 4 years ago, when he was already doing this. He's signaling to QAnon. Hell yeah, he is. The fuck? Were you even around in 2020? That was his whole campaign. It's part of why he lost. Because Q kind of fell apart when January 6th didn't happen. But it was already like it was just a spiraling movement from the beginning because it was so like occupied by people who wanted to pretend to be Q and like gain little mini followings and misdirection. It was just so crazy. Plus, who knows if it was, you know, who knows if there was federal involvement in the like actual QAnon like movement. I wonder. I don't know.
And misogynistic slur online. Reposting, to be precise, which means he didn't come up with it himself.
Oh, he
but liked it
reposted
so much that he wanted the rest of the world to see it.
He retruthed it.
Both a gentle introduction and a warning. One posting of several uses two QAnon catchphrases: "Nothing can stop what is coming," which refers to the so-called mass arrests of so-called deep state members, which in the warped world of QAnon is basically anyone who has irked Donald Trump. Another posting shows President and Hunter Biden, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton,
Dude, AI is such a gift to these guys.
Anthony Fauci, Bill Gates, and Vice President Harris in prison in orange jumpsuits.
Nice.
Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates presumably there for their advocacy of vaccination. Again, this is what the former
Trump
president
loves vaccines, bro. He made the vaccine. And he said, I think you should get it, but you gotta have your freedom. You gotta have your freedom. I think you should get it, but you gotta have freedom.
Of the United States chose to rebroadcast to and amplify for his many followers.
Wait, what was the
He
slur?
did not lose to Again, Dr. Fauci and Bill Gates presumably there for their advocacy of vaccination.
I thought he put,
Again,
where's the misogyny?
this is what the former president of the United States chose to rebroadcast to and amplify for his many followers. He did not look at this stuff, chuckle silently to himself, if that's what he would do, and move on. Instead, he wanted to give it the stamp of approval of the 45th and perhaps the 47th president of the United States.
He wanted everybody to see
And
it.
then there is this, a photo of Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton. The caption, which I'm not going to read out, is demeaning of both women and contains a vulgar reference.
Fucking dude, libs are scared to do real journalism. This is what I mean. This is what I mean when I talk about Gaza and I say that our media class is incapable. Incapable. Wait, is Fox doing a fucking town hall right now? What the fuck? Panel discussion. Sorry, I have this pulled up on the side. He's doing like a live talk with Tulsi Gabbard. It's weird. We can watch that actually. But dude, liberals are literally scared to actually do real journalism. What does it say? Funny how blowjobs impacted both of their careers differently. Referring to Monica Lewinsky in the case of Hillary Clinton, and referring to, I guess, Kamala Harris in general, because there's no like specific. It's just the implication is, I guess, she sucked off Joe Biden. Ew. These guys are gross. Trump reposted that. Him reposting that is actually crazy. Like, this is, again, this is more lib shit, but it's just like, oh my god. Like, what is he doing? Does he, like, want to lose? Who the fuck is running the Trump campaign? Just nobody. It's just an empty ship.
How do we make them walk to a polls?
Walk to a. Penguo, thank you for the 5 months. Thank you so much. You're talking about the H3 thing. What H3 thing? They think about Kamala giving head way too much. Yeah, it's like a weird obsession they have. When she's literally worked in politics for like a quarter century. 25 years in politics, in state level politics, in the Senate, like, and what? You're telling me she did sexual favors for all of those positions? That's crazy, dude. It is so like, it is so much the Republican Party, the party of women. This is what they're referring to. It's incredibly stupid. Fact check. Kamala Harris and Willie Brown had a relationship a decade after he separated from wife? What? Their relationship ended in 1995. Oh, it's a post that says, married 60-year-old Willie Brown and his 29-year-old mistress. They did have a relationship between 1994 and 1995. He had been reportedly estranged from his wife, although he was legally married. He had been estranged for 10 years. Oh my God. Yeah, that's just messy. But also, it's 30 years ago. That's the one thing they got, man. That's crazy. What's Trump saying?
Run mess. And if you have
Close the
private plans,
border.
a lot
I
of
love
people
the
in this
little
room have
YouTube
private
chat.
plans. They're
Lie, lie,
attractive
lie.
plans. They worked hard to get those plans, and that's what they want. But
You
with
selling
her,
those
she
hats?
wants to have, it's really a communist type of government. And
Nice.
I just saw her, Tulsi, on
Comrade
she was sitting
Kamala.
behind a desk doing this interview. And I said, Dana Bash, you could make yourself big tonight. All you have to do is be fair. I haven't seen the questions, but they gave out a sample. In fact, she's going to be on later on tonight with a tape. There was a tape. We're doing
30
it
minutes.
live. Why are we doing it live and she's doing it taped?
That's so funny.
But
What did I tell you, chat? It's never enough.
But she
It
was
has to
sitting
be
behind
live.
that desk, this massive desk, and she didn't look like a leader to me, I'll be honest. I don't see her negotiating
That's
with
awesome.
President Xi of China.
Didn't look
I don't
like
see
one.
her with Kim Jong-un
Vibes.
like we did with Kim Jong-un.
No, no.
So we're going to have to see what happens.
I don't think so.
I'll tell you what,
Me
November
instead.
5th is going to be
I don't like
the
the way
most
it looks.
important day in the history of this country. Go for it.
I don't care about Dana Fash.
Mr. President,
That's the thing. He actually kind of likes CNN
there are
right
a lot
now.
of people who want to feel
say.
hopeful about our future. I want to introduce you to Luke, who is one of those people.
Kamala should do this, by the way. She should do a town hall.
Guy.
These are good.
Thank you.
People like
My name
these.
is Luke Pulaski, and I'm a junior here at the University of Wisconsin.
He's
La Crosse.
flexing. He's trying
I'll be
to
voting for the
flex
first time
on
in
Kamala
November,
for doing a
and I'm
pre-recorded
researching
thing.
each
We
candidate,
just heard
and I
it.
have two questions for you. First, as I've been living on my own and buying my own gas and groceries,
Here I come.
I have noticed that everything has become more expensive. For me personally, I try to eat healthy and stay lean. A pound of meat has gone from $4 to almost $7. I also would like to buy a home someday, but that seems just impossible now. What's your plan to make life more affordable?
This is
and
your
bring down
average Gen Z
inflation for someone
Republican,
like
by
me?
the way.
Very good, thank you.
I'm just so scared about the future, so I'm voting for Donald Trump. I can't afford my house. I can't afford a house someday, so I'm voting for Donald Trump so he'll deregulate the entire housing industry.
But it's a little bit true.
Male struggle.
And groceries, food has
Very
gone
good.
up at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We've never seen anything
And
like
what are you
it.
gonna
50,
do?
60, 70%.
I don't know.
You take a look at bacon and some of these
Bacon.
products, and some people don't
All the
eat
groceries
bacon
that he
anymore.
left out the other day in New Jersey.
We are going to get the energy prices down. When we
Eats a
get
pound of
energy
meat in
down.
one
This was
sitting.
caused by their horrible energy wind. They want wind all over the place.
Okay, that's not why
Piano
groceries are
87
expensive.
on my happy ass history exec. NDMC in Peggy Tomorrow. Mamma mia
Oh,
pizza
nice.
gorgonzola spaghetti.
Have fun at the Peggy show. That's sick.
Out of wealth, actually. They're
Bacon.
taking our wealth away. But it was caused by energy. And what
That's
they've done
crazy.
is
That's,
they
no, it's
started
not.
cutting way back.
It's not.
We were in third place.
Why the
When I left,
groceries?
we were-
A pound of meat is not more expensive because of wind. Because they want wind. What the fuck, dude? Like, he can't speak to people's actual concerns. He just has to do fossil fuel propaganda. We have to drill, baby, drill, and you won't have any more problems ever again.
Don't talk about the election, please. You know,
Uh-oh.
if you can't talk about a bad election, you really don't have a democracy if you think about it,
He
right?
sounds drunk. I know he's not, but he does. He does not drink, chat. That is famous. He
But
does
what
not
they
drink.
did,
His father, I
Tulsi,
think,
is
was an
they
alcoholic.
took back the oil production. The oil started going crazy. That started the inflation. Then they went back. They said, go back to where Trump was. The problem is that we would have been 3 times that level right now. We would have been so dominant over Russia and Saudi Arabia. Look, Saudi Arabia, Russia, a lot of oil. We would have had more. You know, we had something in Alaska, Anwar, that I created. I mean, Ronald Reagan wanted it. You remember? Ronald Reagan wanted it. They all wanted it. And I got it approved. Nobody was able to get it approved. I got it approved. And the first week in office, they turned it back. They said, no, it's the biggest site possibly in the world. Could be bigger than Saudi Arabia. Well, we're going to start that up. We're going to become the energy capital of the world. We're going to pay down our debt, and we're going to reduce your taxes still further. And your groceries are going to come tumbling down.
How?
And your interest rates are going to be tumbling down. And then you're going to go
Because
out
drill?
and you're going to buy a beautiful house. Okay? You're going to buy a beautiful house. That's called the American dream. The American dream.
He just doesn't say how. He just said, you're going to do it.
Thank you.
He didn't answer the question.
Mr. President,
But no Gen Zer has the like
question about
articulate
national security, but first I think it's
ability to
important to
articulate
point
themselves,
out
myself included,
about the
to
cost
counter
of
that
groceries,
narrative.
the cost of gas, the cost
Apart
of
just from
housing,
the facts of, you know, drilling doesn't fix the housing crisis.
Kamala Harris
Has anyone told him oil is finite? It doesn't matter. It's liquid gold. It's gonna raise prices. We have so much. It'll be great. It'll be beautiful.
What's going to happen if Kamala Harris institutes price controls?
So that's a communist plan. It's
Oh.
never worked. And it's been tried by others. Believe it or not, Richard Nixon tried it. A lot of people tried it. It's been tried many times, and it always leads to the same failure. Tremendous
true.
inflation, lack of product.
Okay,
You don't have anything.
This is the corporate demon possessing him right now. Corporations are speaking through him. You're not voting for Kamala? No, not right now.
It's been...
Unless the campaign completely changes the narrative on Gaza, I'm not voting.
We're going to
for
go
them.
price control. Actually, when she announced it, she got absolutely slaughtered by even Democrats because it doesn't work.
Because Jeff Bezos' media operation, the Washington Post, turned on her. The New York Times, which also speaks for corporations, turned on her when she announced price controls. And I think this is why she's moderating her position. I think this is literally why... she's gone to the right.
Remember, that wasn't working because it was getting a little bit cooler.
Because
so
the
they said,
liberal
"What are we gonna
media
do?
didn't
We'll call
like
it
the economic plan. So now she's like, I'm going to talk about the border. I'm Bordazar. You guys love Bordazar. Like you're not voting. I'll vote down ballot, but I won't vote for Kamala Harris. I'm not voting for genocide.
called nuclear global warming. We can say that's global warming. And if we don't have a smart president, you know, you have five nations now with pretty massive nuclear power. Some have very massive, including us and Russia.
Including Israel.
China's behind, way behind, but within 4 or 5 years they'll catch up.
It doesn't matter. They have nukes. It doesn't matter. How many nukes they have doesn't matter. They have nukes.
Country has the biggest problem the world has is
Will you
nuclear.
write in Walz or Sanders or something? You just don't have to fill in for president. You don't have to. You literally don't have to.
To make sure
Leave
they're
it blank.
never used. We have to make sure it's not going to happen.
You're exactly right. You brought up Ronald Reagan already. Ronald Reagan famously said, "A nuclear war can never be won and should never be fought." And I think it's interesting you talked about
Democrats
climate
don't
change, Mr.
believe
President.
that?
The Democrats and Kamala Harris, they were quick to talk about how climate change is an existential threat. But what they're not talking about is the existential threat of nuclear war and World
They're
War
not
III,
talking
which is
about that.
exactly where we sit today.
They don't do
because of
enough
the
fear
warmongers
mongering,
their puppets,
and I'm
Joe
so
Biden
scared.
and Kamala
They need to
Harris.
talk
They don't
about
want
the
to
things
talk
that
about
I'm
it
scared
because
of.
The consequence of where they have taken all of us as the
Instead of what
American
voters
people
are
in the
scared of,
world
which is climate change.
Economic hardship.
No one gives a fuck about World War III. Florida is sinking. Florida is sinking. Texas is flooding every year and freezing over when it's not. You should write in Andrew Jackson, one of the most brutal fucking genocidal presidents of our history. Yeah, he'll go great next to Joe Biden.
Within 5 to 10 years. And when I heard that, I felt so sad because
I'm so
they're at a
not
point
scared of nukes. It's just such a, like, it's so stupid. It's just so stupid. People are scared of not being able to own a home. They don't care about nukes. Nukes are a fact of nature. It's like being scared of hurricanes. And Americans don't really give a fuck about that neither. But they care about if their property gets fucked up. And if they don't have anywhere to live.
Prime Minister of Hungary. They asked him recently about what's the problem in the world. A few years ago,
This is like being like the doomsday clock is going up, chat.
Israel being attacked.
Vote for me.
We didn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. And they
The
asked him,
doomsday
why
clock.
is it so bad now? The Middle East is on fire. So many places are on fire, and there are plenty places that
Yeah, why?
could very well and
Why
very
is
quickly
that?
catch on. What's the problem? He said, you have to bring Trump back as president of the United States. Who
said
You
this?
will have no problem. He single-handedly kept things, and it's true.
If you had to vote for or fuck Biden, what would you do? Where is it? Hang on. Wait. If you had to vote for or fuck Joe Biden, what would you do? I would not let this country fall. I'd do what I goddamn had to do. I'd tickle his balls, chat. I'd give him the grapefruit technique. Burn fat while pleasing your man. I would make Joe Biden squirt rather than voting for his decrepit ass. And I would do that because I love this country. I am a patriot. Don't question me. That's a real American hero right there. He kind of bad too? No, he's not. He's disgusting. But I would deal with it. I would do what I had to do. I would save this country. He's horrid. It would be torturous. Thank you. It shouldn't bother you how others vote. Yeah, vote shaming doesn't really do anything. I don't think you should vote for Kamala Harris. I think urging her to change the position on the genocide is the best you can do as someone who actually cares. You can urge and not shut the... You don't have to shut the fuck up about the genocide in August if you're going to vote for her in November. I don't really care what you do. I just care about the right things happening. And I'm going to say what I advocate for because it's really, like, not a complicated thing at all. It's not a complicated demand. It's not a complicated process. It's not a complicated issue. It's a genocide. The ICC has a pending warrant for Netanyahu's arrest. They want to prosecute him as well as other members of his war cabinet, and that should happen. I think the U.S. should... I think Kamala Harris should absolutely pledge to recognize the ICC's authority. I don't know if she'd be able to with Joe Biden in office because that would be a direct opposition to his administration, but that's like what I expect. And I wouldn't endorse a politician unless they had done that, because to me that's the bare minimum. I care about Trump losing, of course, but Trump is not doing a good job right now. Excuse me. Trump is not doing a good job, so I don't have a lot of faith in him, like, pulling it together. Country fall. Is this the longest you could clip? I do what I goddamn had to do. I tickle his balls, chat. I'd give him the grapefruit. Everyone clipped it. Someone clip it with the question.
Burn fat. While pleasing your man. I would make Joe Biden squirt. Rather than voting for his decrepit ass.
Oh. If you had to vote for or fuck Joe Biden, what would you do? Thank you. I would not let this country fall. I do what I goddamn had to do.
I tickle his balls, chat. I'd give him the grapefruit technique. Burn fat. While pleasing your man. I would make Joe Biden squirt. Rather than voting for his decrepit ass. And I would do that because I love this country. I am a patriot.
Perfect clip. Thank you so much, Random. Or Randidum. Have I been saying your name wrong this whole time? I'm so sorry. Perfect clip. Thank you.
The baby is born and you make a decision
Oh, God.
what to do.
He's talking about 9-month abortions.
The baby after birth. And according to
He thinks it's fine
what
if
they
it's
have
state
passed,
law.
legislation in Minnesota, they're
Okay.
allowed to execute the baby
Elope.
after birth. And this guy
Why did you?
is a participant.
Why don't? Are you not going to vote for? You're not going to approve abortion bans then?
In fact, a Marxist
for that.
slash
It's
communist.
state law.
Remember, I'd say all the time.
You said leave it to the
Our country
states.
will never be socialist, right? We will not have a socialist. Well, I was
Dude,
right.
he said he would leave it to the states. He's fine with that. 5-year abortions.
This woman has to be stopped.
Who?
Mr.
Kamala?
President,
This
we
woman.
have time for one final question. I don't know if we can get a mic to Bernardo
Bernardo.
He's got an important question, given
Come to me, Bernardo.
very soon we will be honoring the anniversary of September 11th and all of the lives that were lost
9/11.
on that tragic day and that
Very
tragic
sad.
attack where we were attacked
Very
by radical
sad.
Islamist terrorists. And Bernardo,
God, I hate
wanted
Tulsi
to
Gabbard.
share his
Everyone
thoughts
who
and had a
voted,
question for
I
you
was
on
fooled
this.
by Tulsi Gabbard when I was like 19, and I was excited about politics because she said she was anti-war. But I quickly realized she was a grifter.
And
The worst grifter, radical Islamist.
I'm
No, that's
also
her
a father
thing.
of 8.
She's a
I
super
have
huge
7 here
Islamophobe.
with me.
Father of 8. And I have a question about 9/11. What's the question about?
And it's the anniversary of 9/11 is coming up. I'm
What are you
concerned
doing
that
to
we're
celebrate?
more vulnerable now than ever.
Yes, build the Iron Dome.
And we have a Democrat nominee who
Another meeting. Thank you
doesn't
for the
even
11
wanna
months, by the way.
say
Holy
the
shit.
words, says we shouldn't say the words radical Islamic terror. How are we going to protect America from
Bro.
a terrorist attack?
We've had way more white supremacist terror than
First of all, it's a
Islamic
great
terror.
question. And you know, we have radical Islamists pouring into our country along with everybody else.
He's gonna
right now.
do
They're
mass
coming in at levels that
deportations.
nobody's ever seen before.
Build the Iron
we kept
Dome.
them out. We had 1 year where Border Patrol put down. It was, I believe, 2019, where they. And I don't
Yeah, it's
believe
Yerba,
this. I don't
not
believe it's
Rebel.
right, but. I'll take it. They said 0 came in 20. That was my term. 0.
Yeah,
Now
makes
we
sense.
have thousands. I'd like to say that was true. It's probably not because I can't imagine that. But we
Oh.
were very tough on that.
Okay.
Now they have thousands and thousands coming in. Along
What
with the
numbers
prisoners
does
and
he
along with the
believe?
crime. And remember, a lot
are
of
his
these
numbers.
countries like Venezuela, their crime is way down because they
Some of
moved
them
their
gotta be
criminals
terrorists.
into our country. It's not even believable.
This is just
but
not
your
true.
question on Islamists and all of the jihad and all of the things
All
that
of the
they talk
jihad?
about.
Oh, yeah.
They have to
Scary
respect
stuff.
your country. They have to respect your leader. You know, I had no radical Islam crime for 4 years, and I didn't want to talk about it. I wanted to. I talked about it after, but I didn't want to talk about it during. I don't want to say like I had absolutely, and the next day you get hit. But we had none, 4 years of it, because they respected your president, they respected your country, and they have to. We have to bring back that level of respect, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it, and we're not letting the wrong people into our country. Okay, thank you very much. Great question.
Thank you, Mr.
Wow.
President. I know
He didn't even
you
talk about
have
deporting them. He
run
didn't
out
talk
of
about
time
Gaza.
here,
He didn't
but
talk
thank
about
you for
Palestine.
having
That
this
was
conversation
crazy.
with the people of
What a
Wisconsin
weird
and
answer.
people across the country who are watching and concerned about these very same issues. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you,
very
everyone,
much.
for being here.
Thank you, everybody. Vote. Vote. Thank you, everybody, very much.
There was an ISIS attack in 2017 in the beginning of Trump's administration, which killed 8 people and injured others. Trump lamented this attack during his presidency. Trump's Justice Department also alleged... he's playing YMCA, isn't he?
Attack in the same vein as the
Tulsi Gabbard was groomed for politics since childhood by homophobic, Islamophobic, ND misogynistic, Hindu cult called the Science of Identity Foundation Forbice.
Yes, she's a plant. Absolutely. She's fucking gross. She's very like Nikki Haley-esque, very sharky, very good with liberals, CNN style Republican. Don't like it. That's honestly more so the future of the Republican Party than like the JD Vance types, like the Silicon Valley blood boy Peter Thiel, Elon Musk style. Like they don't have as much of a future as these like hollow, like white passing mixed women that just love talking about how much they hate immigrants. Like it's their biggest thing. That's the Republican Party in the future, I think. I think after Trump, they nominate their Margaret Thatcher. We're ready. America's ready for a woman racist. And that shit works, dude. Demonstrably. Look at Europe. We need our Georgia Maloney. It's happening. Yippee. It's Peter Thiel. I know, I always say Thiel. What's up with Peter Thiel? He's one of the biggest Republican donors. He's also a Nazi. And he's European. So it's like annoying that he's also like contributing to the rise of fascism in America as a billionaire. Wait, 2019, white supremacists pled guilty to multiple charges in New York. This is all terror attacks that happened under Trump. 2018, a variety of other terrorist attacks during Trump's presidency. Mailed explosive. One of Trump's supporters mailed improvised explosive devices to prominent Democratic officials in 2018. I remember that. That was insane. God damn. That shit just gets buried. Someone on a Hassan vid on YouTube tried to argue with me that the UK was only now racist. That's insane. What do you mean? When did they start becoming racist? Like, why am I like halfway through this video already? Or 7 minutes in? Why do you hate macaroni?
Happy Wednesday, boys and girls. We like our snacks today. Say today we have a birthday on the bus. Say today is Macaroni's 6th birthday. And for his birthday, his mom made everyone some mac and cheese bites. We like our snacks today?
Okay, don't give them
The birthday boy
that.
is gonna go first.
Wait, what?
Today, some mac and cheese bites.
Okay, don't feed them that.
We like our snacks today? The birthday boy is gonna go first. Macaroni. All right, now we're gonna go Timber, Teddy, Cooper. No, Cooper. Bear.
Cooper?
No, Cooper.
Aw.
Bear.
This looks like Ronan. That looks just like Ronan. That's crazy.
Okey Pokey.
Aw.
Indy.
God, that's a big ass
Sky.
mac and cheese bite.
Zoe. Callie.
Did you know Sam
Ella.
Cedar was a voice actor in Magic School Bus? I didn't know that.
Rika.
Dude, Uncle Sam. He should
Big
have
Mac.
like a children's show. He has such a nice voice.
Kevin.
A children's
Frankie.
show where he talks about like how
Colt.
how corporations
Moose Lou
have
has to
destroyed
have a beef
America or
liver.
something.
Charlie.
Yeah, I know he's on Bob's Burgers. Oh, Charlie's shy.
Zeppelin.
Dude, this is an
Lambo.
insane bus full of dogs.
Stop it.
My kind of Uncle
Eddie.
Sam? Oh, yeah.
One more for the birthday boy.
Oh, I love the little crown. I'm sorry, that's so cute.
Then we got Piper.
Oh, Piper. She's under the thing.
Ziggy, you want one?
Okay, he's just chilling, I feel like.
You don't want that one? You want a beef liver?
She don't like the bus. Maybe
Pokey,
she's
you
just
already
cozy
got
down there.
one.
She seems a little shy.
And Zeke, where are you? Zeke.
Dog birthday.
There's Zeke. There he is. You want a beef liver? Good boy.
Oh, they're so cute. Oh, I love dogs. Tim Walz' dog does look like Ronan too, yeah. He had a good birthday. Fucked up the link. Watch this is really good. It's 30 minutes, and also, god damn, it's edited crazy. What is this? Maybe I'll watch this in my off time. I got other stuff to cover. Happy birthday, macaroni. Let's get through this Truth Social thing. Did he post anything
oral
else?
sex acts. Now remember, again, this is the
Yeah, Trump said that Kamala and Hillary Clinton, he reposted this that said, funny how blowjobs impacted both of their careers differently. Really insane for him to repost that.
a vulgar reference to oral sex acts. Now remember, again, This is the Republican candidate for president and the 45th president of the United States talking about two women who, no matter what you think of their politics, are two of the most accomplished women in American political history. This is what he chose to amplify, which, as extreme as it is not exactly out of character when it comes to him and women.
She was by far the nastiest to Joe Biden. There was nobody nastier than her. She was extraordinarily nasty to
He said this a lot.
Kavanaugh. She was nasty to a level that was
originally
a horrible thing.
When she was first picked as VP, he was like, why is he picking her as VP? She was so mean in the primary. She was so nasty. Oh, God. Yeah, I forgot. He kept calling Elizabeth Warren Pocahontas. Whew. Awesome. Nasty Kamala, Comrade Kamala. Listen, he said that about the NABJ lady. He says that about every woman that pisses him off. He calls them nasty. He calls them ugly. Like, he gets really gross immediately. It is not unheard of. And he'll probably continue to double down on this. I miss Mean Kamala that called out Joe. Yeah. Hopefully she brings that back for the debate. That's the most we can ask for, is just that little crumb of content. I think, if she plays it real nice, she's nice to all the journalists, she's nice to everyone at the campaign, she's very pleasant, and then she really hits hard on Trump and gets real fucking prosecutorial on him, I think that'll play really well, and the Republicans won't have a lot of evidence for her being, like, nasty and mean. She's nice. She's talking about joy, but she's serious about, her opponent, about her election. I think that is probably the smartest angle for them when it comes to how she's handling the optics of the debate and, the current media cycle.
Just a horrible thing. She was probably nastier than even Pocahontas. By the racist Attorney General of New York State.
He had a lot more energy back in the day, man.
Peekaboo James. How about low
Racially
IQ
motivated.
Maxine Waters? Omarosa
Racially
is
motivated.
obviously the ultimate villain and the nastiest.
this is
I
old,
think it's a
2013.
very nasty question when you ask continue in a very hostile, nasty tone. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
Just moments ago, a Harris campaign
He hates
spokesman
women.
put out a statement quoting him now, Donald Trump is out of his mind. If a family member posted what Donald Trump is sharing today, Americans would rightly be concerned. But this is what Donald Trump and his Project 2025 agenda offer America, prosecuting political opponents, using dangerous conspiracy theories to justify harmful policies, and dividing Americans against each other. I want to get perspective now from two CNN political commentators on the right and left, respectively, David Urban and Ashley Allison, also CNN Newsnight anchor Abby Phillip. Abby, I don't know why anybody would be surprised, but it is still...
This isn't surprising at all. This is just standard Trump stuff. It's just weird that they're acting shocked. Once the heat really turns on Trump, once Trump really has a fire under his ass and, like, actually gets confronted with... especially women that hit him with the reality that he is, disconnected from in his rhetoric, he turns personal and he calls them nasty and he gets gross. He's done this his whole political life. He's done this on TV. He is a misogynist and it's popping out. It's really gross.
I mean, the reason we're leading with this is this guy was the 45th president of the United States. Very well could be the next president of the United States. And the stuff he's putting out, I mean, the QAnon conspiracy
I only have
stuff.
these tiny little short
this
going
is this is a dangerous cult, which really, has infected a lot of people's lives.
The QAnon stuff is so unrelated to the broader story. It's so funny. It's just the other thing he was reposting. I really wonder what their defense of him will be. Who, Republicans? There's no defense. They're just like, he's right. What do you mean? Republicans love this shit. There's no defending it. They don't have to. This is just like what they like to do. Very mindful, very demure little blunt, yeah. He reposts QAnon memes at least once a week. That's what I mean. He's been doing this since like 2020. What's the surprise here? The shock is that he was retweeting the like blowjob thing. That was funny. But a sign of things to come, I think. He's going to call her nasty if she even gets a little contentious in the debate. He's going to immediately be like, that's very nasty. How can you be so nasty? You're trying to be the president of the United States and you're nasty. Watch, dude. He's going to say like that verbatim. If not during the debate, then after, for sure. Uh-oh, uh-oh. I'm just waiting on the CNN thing. Can I watch it live? Like, what's going on? Are they going to upload it? Where is it? Hassan's stream? Where's he watching it? God damn it. Live news now. Hang on. FakeSocialism.net, ChampagneSocialism.com. That's where he's streaming it. Really? We got it? Okay, we got it. Sick. Thank you, chatter, for telling me to just look at what Hassan's doing. Good advice.
Them on the trail as they visited the battleground of Georgia.
Let's go.
Just 68 days from the election.
We're coming up, baby.
Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. Bus tour is well underway here in Georgia.
Quality.
You have less time to make your case to voters
Georgia
than
mentioned.
any
They are in
candidate
Georgia, yeah.
in modern American
I don't know if Georgia
history.
flips blue, chat. I'm
The
skeptical.
voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day one in the White House?
That's a hard maybe.
Well, there are a number
might
of
be
things.
purple.
I will tell
Oh,
you
God.
first and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions
Do
of
you
the
think North
American
Carolina
people,
flips?
I think that
It was
people
blue
are
last
ready
time.
for a new way forward.
You mean flip red?
In a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade,
North Carolina was not
we
blue in
have
2020?
had in the
Oh,
former
shit. You're
president
right.
someone who has
What the fuck?
really been pushing an agenda
My bad.
and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans. Really
Okay, this sucks.
dividing our nation.
Word
and
salad,
I
word
think
salad,
people are
word
ready to
salad. This
turn
is
the
bad.
page
This
on
is
that.
bad.
What would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy.
Sleepy Kamala.
I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is
Alexa's
about
home.
investing in the American family
Yeah,
around
she's
affordable
yapping right
housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda, too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be. And I think many of these things that the Vice President's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one we know that reduces childhood
Okay,
poverty by a
wow.
third.
Fucking
We did
Tim
it in
Walz is the
Minnesota
first
to have
guy
a
to talk
federal
about
partner in
policy.
this.
God damn it.
Unbelievable,
Kamala.
I think, in the impact that we can
Thank
make.
you, Tim. Thank you,
Talk
Tim.
about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now
Return
many
of Lex.
Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of
Tim W.
affordability.
Fucking God.
One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable.
Tim needs to
when
be running
Donald Trump
instead of
was
her. Well, the
president.
good thing is he is running, technically.
Well,
just
let's start
SVP.
with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office,
Here, I don't
during
want
the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million
Hai
jobs
visto
were
el signal
lost.
got any reinfer costume ideas?
People, literally, all tracking the numbers.
pizza
Hundreds
pusa
of people
pia
a day were
italiano,
dying
non
because
li ca
of COVID.
comunism là.
The
You're
economy
talking
had
over
crashed.
the president. She's
In
speaking.
large part, all of that
You have to go as a little goblin now to the Ren Fair.
of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America. And today,
Why
we
is she
know
talking
that
about Joe
we
Biden?
have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies
Just
have led
go,
to the
dude.
reality that America recovered faster than any
about
wealthy
the
nation
future.
around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too
Joe
high.
Biden
The
is
American
dead.
people know it, I know it. Which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging. What we need to do to extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to
Extend
take care
or
of
make
their
permanent?
children in their most formative
No.
years. What we need to do to bring
Make
down
permanent.
the cost of housing. My proposal
Extend.
includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough
my
to put a
wiener.
down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way that allows them to actually get on the path
She hit
to
one
achieving
policy,
that
the-
goal and
the
that
$25,000
dream.
down
You
payment.
have been vice president for
How's
3.5
the
years.
first-time homeowner tax credit?
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first
fucking
of all,
vice
we had
president.
to recover as an economy, and we
That's
have done
also
that.
true.
I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than
That's a
3%.
good answer, at least.
The work that we have done to cap
We
the
had
cost
to
of
fucking
insulin
fix
at
the
$35
Trump.
a month
We
for
had to
seniors.
fix what Trump did.
Said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Never happened. We did
True.
it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited. I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not
Okay,
doing
that's
that
true.
You
anymore.
maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain
Dana Fash is
that
literally
when
fucking
we do
Fox
the
News
work
host
of
at
bringing
this
down
point.
prescription
I hate
medication
her.
for the American people, including capping the cost of
Bidenomics
the
is
annual
working.
cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%, when we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America, what we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs.
We
I'll
brought
say
back
that
child poverty when we ended the child tax credit in 2022.
I want to get some clarity on where you stand on
We
some
did do that.
key policy issues.
Please.
Energy is a big one.
Oh, God.
When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in
Yeah, what happened to
2019,
that?
you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
It's just because it's
Do you
Pennsylvania.
still
It's so
want to
annoying.
ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020.
Yeah. She
That
said
I
she would never
would not
ban
ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
Great.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no
said
question
no.
I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going
Yeah,
forward.
when she ran for president,
I kept
it was
my word,
different.
and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed.
This sucks.
I believe it is very important
Oh,
that we
sick.
take
This is why she
seriously
spun to
what
the
we
border.
must
She was
do
panicking.
to guard against
I love
what is
that.
a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that,
But the Green
we
New Deal
can
isn't
do
enough,
what
I
we
guess.
have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done,
supposed to be like
creating over
13 trillion.
300,000 new clean
It was
energy
negotiated
jobs.
to 1,
That tells
1.2.
me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, excuse me, I cast
that
the
was bad.
tie-breaking vote
She sucks.
that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president.
Yeah.
So I'm very
Wow.
clear about where I stand.
And
And I hate the Green New Deal.
policy or scientific
jobs.
data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
Nope.
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy
This
economy
sucks,
without
Ryan.
banning fracking.
Okay.
Oh,
Another issue,
wow.
big one, is immigration.
Okay.
As vice president, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern
They really shouldn't have done CNN
countries.
chat.
And
Oh! Cannot load. Uh-oh. Stick bug. A stick bug has hit the vice president.
asylum
We're
restrictions.
back.
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president,
Bordazar.
has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including
Bordazar, baby.
historic investments by American businesses in that
They hit
region.
the second Biden.
The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that
How is it?
Joe Biden and I and our administration worked
Bordazar.
with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most
Our
conservative
security is the
members of
border.
the United States Congress,
Enjoy fracking,
a
world.
bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border. And because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress,
It's literally better
don't put it
that
forward.
bill
He
didn't
killed
pass.
the bill.
Oh my God. Okay.
A border
Almost-
security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large
then they
part because
endorsed
they knew
him.
they were working around the clock.
Okay, then what?
And 1,500
Then
more
what?
agents would help them.
Dude,
that bill
they
would
literally-
have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any
Fentanyl bot.
community in America that
They're
has
gonna
been
build the fentanyl
devastated
machine.
by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a
Bullshit.
pain that they've
So you would-
experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to
Not
ask
only
about
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I
Insane.
would sign it.
just one other
Insane.
question about
Okay,
something that you
so bad.
said in 2019 when
That's
you
her
first ran.
border
There
solution.
was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not,
Not good.
the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws
Fuck off.
that have to be followed
Hell
and
no.
enforced that address and deal with people who
Bullshit.
cross our border
People are
illegally,
illegal. Yep.
And there should be consequence. And let's be clear,
Awesome.
in this
No,
race,
cool, man.
I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal
Yeah,
organizations who traffic in
Kamala.
guns, drugs, and human beings.
Come to Ellis
I'm
Island, you
the only
get
person
arrested.
in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws. And
That's
I
right.
would enforce our laws as president going forward. I
Oh, yeah,
recognize
enforce
the problem.
law.
Generally speaking,
Law and order.
how
We
should
love that.
voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here?
I love the
in your
police.
policy.
Why is she running on Kamala?
Because you
she
have more
thinks it
experience
works.
now and you've learned more about
Suburbs,
the
baby.
information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is
She's
going
going
to
for
be
the
your
Fox
policy
News
moving
voters
forward?
that won't vote for her.
Dana, I think the
Smart.
most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time.
Yeah.
We did that with the Inflation Reduction
not
Act. We
pitching
have
anything.
set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe.
She's talking about, like,
around
carbon
when we
neutrality.
should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas
negative.
emissions, as an
Yeah.
example. That value has not changed. My value around what
She
we
won't
need
say
to do
how
to
long or
secure
how
our
much
border,
or whatever,
that
of
value
course
has not
not.
changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. And 4 years of
This
being
sucks.
vice president,
My values
I'll tell
have
you,
not
one
changed.
of the
People are just gonna say
aspects
she's
to your
lying.
point is traveling the
she
country
is.
extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone. I believe it is important to build consensus. And it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually
Bordazar.
solve problems.
On that note, you had a lot of Republican speakers
Trump said
at
he
the
needs to give her a
convention. Will
MAGA
you appoint a
hat.
Republican to your cabinet?
That's
Yes, I
brutal.
would.
Anyone
Yes,
in
I
mind?
would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go
Yeah,
with this
no.
election, so I'm not
You
putting
can't
the cart
call them
before the
weird if
horse,
you're
but
like,
I
they're
would.
actually right about all this
I
stuff.
think it's really
and we agree.
important.
Bipartisanship.
I have spent my career
Dark
inviting
MAGA.
diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences.
on,
and I
baby.
think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
That was just the start of our wide-ranging conversation, and we have some never-before-shared details about the phone call that changed everything between President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris.
I'm just curious, staying on President Biden, when he called you and said he was pulling out of the race, what was that like? And did he offer to endorse you right away, or did you ask for it?
It was a
Sucks.
Sunday, so
You want a Republican in your cabinet. And then, yeah, we're doing the fluff piece on the second half. I love that. Well, how did Joe Biden tell you? How happy were you? Did you do a little dance when you found out you get to run for president? Like, shut the fuck up. This is so infuriating, dude. I just can't fucking believe this shit. Oh, Walz addresses controversies. Oh, wow.
Service in the
Yeah.
National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but you have never deployed actually in a
Why
war zone.
the
A campaign
fuck-
official said
Oh my
that
God.
you misspoke. Did you?
Answer for your stolen valor. Thanks, fucking Dana Bash. Wow, what a good fucking interview we set up here, man. What a fucking smart idea it was to hop on CNN and just rattle off right-wing talking points, both in the form of the answers and the questions. That's cool. Yeah, CNN literally wants to undermine a progressive person. They can't help themselves. They're foaming at the mouth. They're like, Kamala Harris, how many drone strikes will you do on day one in your office? How many drone strikes will you allow? And it has to be more than 500 on day one. Otherwise, I will protest this Democrat Party. That's what Dana Bash says. And then Tim Walz is like, yeah, what do you have to say about Greg Gutfeld thinking that you have stolen valor, that you've committed stolen valor? What do you think about how fucking weird-ass J.D. Vance is making fun of your fucking military service? Did you see the Breonna Taylor court ruling? Yeah, I covered that when it happened. It's bullshit, and it's not the first time it's happened. There was, what, like, how many cops were there? It's like 7. The cop that fired fucking into the side of the house blindly through the blinds after Breonna Taylor had already been killed. Literally shot into the house for no reason. He's not even going to trial until October because his last trial ended with a mistrial. There's no fucking justice. It's bullshit. It's so hard to be optimistic about the world. I agree. I agree. We love cops. The world is a fuck. I don't know what to tell you guys. It's true. I'm just waiting out these commercials. There's an ad break on my stream right now anyway. Yeah. Ronald Reagan appointed judge, by the way. Let's have a Republican in the next cabinet. Can't have the first woman of color and the first woman president ever without a fucking Republican in your cabinet. God forbid we're actually progressive in any way. God forbid that aesthetic progression in American society goes hand in hand with real progress, and it actually is just completely just a complete fucking clown show. She was also heckled in Savannah by anti-genocide protesters. I haven't covered that yet. But that did happen. She tried to handle it, and I think, it's just not... The talking points aren't working. She just said, like, we're working tirelessly for a ceasefire, but that's just not how it works. And it's not true. We know you're not doing that. You're just lying.
Don't be rude.
Oh, we're back.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. In just 12 days, Harris will meet Donald Trump on a debate stage in Philadelphia. And when I say meet, I mean
12
literally
days.
meet. Would you believe they have never talked face to face? The only time they've even been in the same room was when Harris was a senator watching Trump's State of the Union address. Now it's Trump watching Harris on the campaign trail with money and momentum behind her and making her case directly to voters.
As voters are getting to know Kamala Harris, they want answers on how she will make their lives better. She heard that here at Sandfly Barbecue in Savannah.
What we're going to do to increase access to capital for small businesses, I'll be rolling out next week. Part of what we're going to be doing in terms of a tax credit.
On the trail, she talks about her experience,
bad.
years in the courtroom as a district attorney and eventually California's
What is this
attorney
tax
general.
credit shit?
She wants to reframe the contest as the prosecutor versus the
She's on
felon.
the campaign
I know
trail.
Donald Trump's type. I've been dealing with them my whole career.
The former
And we should have a Republican in the cabinet, too?
personal attacks.
I'm dealing with them, and I actually want them on my side.
Ago when she happened to turn black, and now she wants to be known as black.
And in just
Dude, that
12
was such a
days,
fucking
the nominees
great
will meet
moment.
face to face for the first time.
She's not a good debater.
became a black
not
person.
A smart person. She doesn't want to debate.
If you got something to say, say it to my face.
I heard you laugh.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump. I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about
Wait, really? That's
is
crazy. I didn't know
what
that.
he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political
That's so
purposes,
awesome.
questioning a core part
Why
of
did
your
she ask
identity.
this? When did you turn black?
Any
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's
you have
it?
to say about
That's
the
it?
yeah
Okay.
about the turning black
Let's talk about
allegations?
some foreign policy issues that
okay.
would be on your plate
Great.
if you become commander-in-chief.
That was a bad answer.
President Biden has tried
She
unsuccessfully
just said same old playbook.
to end the war between Israel and Hamas.
Come
in
up with a
Gaza.
one-liner
Been
or
doing it for
something.
months and months.
Just be like
along with
typical.
you.
Like, come on, just
Would you do anything
be sassy.
differently? For
Come
example,
on, hit
would
'em.
you withhold some
poke
U.S.
them with a
weapons
stick.
shipments
Hit
to
'em.
Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Oh.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and
Yeah.
unwavering in my commitment to Israel's
Israel's right to
defense
defend itself.
and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But
No weapons embargo.
let's take a step back. October 7,
Let's hear how long this answer turns into
1,200
just
people
no.
were massacred. Many young
October.
people
Oh my
who
God!
were
Yeah,
simply
let's get started. October
attending
7th,
a
when
music
the dawn of
festival.
history.
Women were horribly
Day
raped.
one. Oh!
As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed.
You just
And
can't. You can't. That's
we have
misinformation.
got to
That's misinformation.
get a deal
Hey,
done.
CNN, where's the fact checks on this? Live fact check on the fucking Kamala Harris interview? Wow.
About getting the hostages out. I've
She
met
said
with
this
the
shit at
families
the
of
DNC
the
too.
American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
But no change in policy.
Nope.
In terms
No
of arms
change.
and
No fucking change. Nope.
No, we have to get a deal done.
Yep, that's
Dana,
it.
we have to get a deal done. When you look at
No, we get a ceasefire. No arms embargo. We need a ceasefire. We can keep giving them weapons. They'll just promise to stop using them.
region,
Yep. That's it.
a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will
Just how to bring the
unlock
hostages
so
home.
much of what must happen next. I remain committed since I've been on October 8th.
No progress.
To what we must do to work toward a two-state solution.
This will not
where
happen.
Israel is secure.
This is a filler, bullshitter answer. She will do nothing She has done nothing. She does not give a fuck. She's working tirelessly.
The country is just starting to get to know you. I want to ask you a question about how you've described your service in the National Guard. You said that you carried weapons in war, but
This
you
sucks,
have
dude.
never deployed actually in a war zone. A campaign official said
This is
that you
insane.
misspoke. Did you?
Well, first of all, I'm incredibly proud.
Weapons
I've done
of
24
war,
years of wearing
whatever.
the uniform of this country. Equally proud of my service in a public school classroom, whether it's Congress or the governor. My record speaks for itself, but I think people are coming to get to know me. I speak like they do. I speak candidly. I wear my emotions on my sleeves, and I speak especially passionately about our children being shot in schools and around guns. So I think people know me. They know who I am. They know where my heart is. And again, my
She
record
got a
is
$250,000 in AIPAC money. Well, I'm sure she's getting more now after saying
And
that shit.
The
There's just
the
no
idea
way.
that you said that you were in war.
That's the
Did you
only
misspeak as the
only
campaign has said?
Yeah, I said we were talking about, in this case, this was after a school shooting, the ideas of carrying these weapons of war. And my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar is not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one
True.
thing I'll never do is I'll
Weird.
never demean another member's service in any way. I never have, and I never will.
I just one other question, because again, this is all new.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh my
this was
God,
not,
what?
however many days
What?
ago, this was not on either of your bingo cards, especially yours. You had to clarify that you had said that you and your wife
Oh my God.
used
gonna-
IVF, but it
she's
turned out
gonna
you
hit the
used a
IUF.
different kind of fertility in order to
She's
have
trying to kill the
children.
fucking talking
And then when you ran
point.
for
Dana. This is
2006,
sabotage.
your campaign repeatedly
This is literal.
made
She's
false
sabotaging the
statements
campaign.
about a 1995 arrest for drunk and reckless driving.
Oh!
What do you say to voters who aren't sure whether
Holy shit.
they can take you at your word?
Well, I've been very public. I think they
Wow.
can see
This
my
is more
students come
contentious
out,
than CNN has
former
ever been
folks
to a
I've served with,
Republican.
And they vouch for me. I certainly own my mistakes when I make
God
them.
damn.
The one thing I'll tell you is I wished in this country we wouldn't have to do this. I
Bloodthirsty.
spoke about our infertility issues because it's hell, and families know this. And I spoke about the treatments that were available to us that had those beautiful children there.
Kind of IVF
That's quite a
treatment.
contrast in folks that are trying to take those rights away from us. And so I think people know who I am. They know that record. They've seen that. I've taught thousands
Sorry,
of students. I've been out
IUI.
there. And I won't apologize for speaking passionately, whether it's guns in schools or protecting of reproductive rights. The contrast could not be clearer between what we're running against. The vice president's position on this has been clear. And I think most Americans get it if you've been through that. I don't think they're cutting hairs on IVF or IUI. I think what
Yeah.
they're cutting hairs on is an abortion ban
Not
and the
IUF,
ability to be able to
IUI.
deny families the chance to have a beautiful child.
Doesn't matter, bro.
Up
Fucking
next, the
insane.
moment that changed everything when Kamala Harris
Oh my
got a
God,
phone
now
call
let's
from
get into the
President
fucking
Biden
fluff.
that he was dropping out of the race.
Disgusting. This is probably the most of what
It was,
the rest of the interviews will be.
It was a Sunday. So here, I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it.
Oh,
There's
no.
no such thing, Madam Vice President.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby nieces.
Speaking of those baby nieces, the vice president
This is
also
such an
opened
ominous picture.
viral
Liberals think
picture
this is
from
like
the convention.
inspirational or something. This is scary. Someone was like, it looks like she's sentencing her to like life in prison for truancy as a child, which is what she did to parents. But you know, demonic. I'm so like, holy macaroni.
Pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Oh, cool ads here.
We could run on the news before then.
Let's take some analysis. So that was really rough. The questions are poised against the Democratic Democratic campaign. This is like the IVF conversation. She was literally trying to make Tim Walz have to stop talking. That is such a powerful talking point that he went through fertility treatments with his wife in order to have his two kids, his daughter Hope. That is a very good line that resonates with a lot of people. It's real. It's like emotional. And Dana Bash comes in. with this criticism I've only literally seen on Twitter and maybe like Greg Gutfeld. Like how are we listening to Greg Gutfeld's talking points come out of Dana Bash's mouth? And that's the conversation we're having. How many immigrants are you going to deport? You have to do some. Isn't Greg just a comedian? I mean, yeah, if you want to even call him that. He's closer to like a bridge troll or something. This is how Terry McAuliffe lost in Virginia. Youngkin was a nobody. Yeah, well, dude, it's not even like this, dude. This is how every institutional Democrat loses. Is just appealing to the right, trying to win these like invisible democratic Republicans that are like super into the military but don't like Donald Trump for whatever reason. They love like America having the most lethal military. They like that and want Israel to unconditionally defend itself, but don't think Donald Trump is the better Israel candidate. Independence, they say. You are talking about people who do not exist. They don't. Most lethal, which is literally a redundancy. Like, the military is only lethal. That is the only thing it is. That is what a military is.
Couldn't have been too impressed with our capital. It looks like shit.
Like, what are we doing? Most lethal? The best at killing? She said that at the DNC, dude. That is such an indication of the campaign. Did they talk about Gaza? She said, I mean, she literally was asked about a weapons embargo and said, I unconditionally support Israel's right to defend itself. More bombs. She said, more bombs. Well, if we do a ceasefire and we keep giving them bombs, which we will, they won't use them. Right? There's a ceasefire in Gaza, but they need bombs for, you know, southern Lebanon. They need bombs for Beirut. What do you mean? They need bombs for the Golan Heights and the northern border and Syria. What do you mean? We get a ceasefire, but we still keep giving them bombs. Anyway, we're back.
Days ago, President Biden shocked the world via tweet. That's how we found out he was dropping his re-election bid. But before he tweeted the news,
like the last time Israel said it was doing a ceasefire in Gaza, it still killed civilians. I just hope you know this. The weapons embargo is how the genocide stops. The ceasefire is a symbolic step, and it's the first symbolic step.
debate and whether President Biden was strong enough to lead this nation again.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
Vice President Harris, you were a very staunch defender of President Biden's capacity to serve another 4 years. Right after the debate, you insisted that President Biden is extraordinarily strong. Given where we are now, do you have any regrets about what you told the American people?
Hell no.
No, not at all.
Did you lie to the
Not at
American
all.
people? This is literally Greg Gutfeld. This is literally Greg Gutfeld. I'm Brian Kilmeade, and this is Greg Gutfeld, not Dana Bash. This is Greg Gutfeld wearing Dana Bash's skin. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my mind.
He is so smart and loyal to the American people.
Which is just Dana Bash, by the way. She's just like
hours
that.
upon hours with
She's
him, be
always
it in
like
the
this.
Oval Office or the Situation Room.
It's to be expected.
He has the intelligence, the commitment, and the judgment.
I love the liberal media.
And disposition that I think the American people rightly deserve in their president. By contrast, the former president has none of that. And so, one, I am so proud to have served as vice president to Joe Biden. And two, I am so proud to be running with Tim Walz for president of the United States and to bring America what I believe the American people deserve, which is a new way forward, and turn the page on the last decade of what I believe has been contrary to where the spirit of our country really lies.
But the last decade, of course, the
What?
last 3.5 years has been part of your administration.
I'm talking about an era that started about a decade ago, where there is some suggestion, warped I believe it to be, that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of where I believe most Americans are, which is to believe that the true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. That's what's at stake as much as any other detail that we could discuss in this election.
Because we haven't had a chance to
So
to
why
talk.
are you trying
I'm
to
just
have the
curious,
most lethal
staying
military?
on President Biden.
Who you lift up, you know. I want to lift up the brutal Israeli war government. I want to lift up war criminal Benjamin Netanyahu.
It was a Sunday, so
Not beating
here,
him
I'll,
down.
I'll give you a little too much information.
Go for it.
Oh,
There's no
boy.
such thing, Madam Vice President.
My family was staying with us, and including my baby
What does this
nieces.
even mean? I hate this.
And we had just had pancakes, and you know, Auntie, can I have more bacon? Yes, I'll make you more bacon. And then we were we were sitting down to do a puzzle.
Yeah. With
And
Dougie.
the phone rang, and it was Joe Biden. And he told me what he had decided
My
to
only
do.
possible
And,
hope is that Kamala is just saying the pro-Israel
I
shit
asked
as
him,
a
"Are you
political
sure?"
move. Not that he should really be
And he said
hoping
yes.
for much out of a fucking
And,
oink oink, bitch.
And that's how I learned about it.
It doesn't matter. She's still pro-genocide. She knows what's happening. She knows that there was no mass rapes on October 7th and still lied about it.
My first thought was about him.
She's a
To
liar.
be honest.
She's lying
Um,
nonstop. This is crazy.
I think history is
This
going to
sucks.
show a number of things about Joe Biden's presidency. I think history is going to show that in so many ways it was transformative,
This sucked.
be it on
Balls.
what we have accomplished around finally investing in America's infrastructure, investing in new economies, in new industries, what we have done to bring our allies back together and have confidence in who we are as America and grow
NATO,
that
baby.
alliance.
I love NATO.
What we have done to stand true to our principles, including the one of the most
really
important
hoping
international rules and norms,
she
which
would
is the
talk
importance
about
of sovereignty
NATO.
and territorial integrity.
Yes, dude.
And I think history is going to show not only has Joe Biden led an
Of
administration that
Ukraine.
has achieved
Not
those
the West Bank.
extraordinary successes,
Ridiculous.
but the character of the man is one that he has been in his life
This is so much
and
worse
career,
than I ever
including as a
expected.
president, quite selfless
I don't know
and
what I
puts the American
expected.
people first.
A passionate defense of the man who chose her to be his running mate 4 years ago. 4 years later, Harris made a choice of her own.
Love Joe
And
Biden.
with Governor Walz's rise to national prominence, a star was born at the convention, Gus Walz. We'll hear about that moment between father and son, and the woman who could make history in the Oval Office on this
stop.
iconic photo.
Dude, Dana
Madam Vice
Bash.
President, the photograph that has gone viral. You were speaking, one of your grandnieces that you were just talking about
It
was
spells
watching you
doom.
accept the nomination. You didn't explicitly talk about gender or race in your speech, but it obviously means
how
a
do you
lot
feel
to a lot
about
of
it?
people, and that viral picture really says it. What does it mean to you?
What is race
The
and
TV
gender
moments
mean
that
to
took
you?
culture over the
Stop.
edge.
Or what does? Oh my God! What? Or is she saying like what does that picture mean to you? I guess that's what she means. What does race and gender mean to you? Is that pic supposed to be good for Dems? It is. Gender czar, yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking she's the gender czar. This is crazy, dude. Gender, never heard of her. Why is Kanye here? It was about historic moments in television. That was the George Bush doesn't care about black people moment. Which is a good, I mean, that he was right. That was a based Kanye moment. One sec. Sorry, chat. Was there an ad for the Ronald Reagan movie? That's awesome. Did I miss much yet? Probably about half the interview at least. We're probably getting towards the tail end now. It's so bad. It's so bad, and all we have are commercials in the interim. This is just so... It's just like... This is the worst possible outcome from this interview. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Halfway? I don't know. Maybe 2/3. I don't know. Is Ronald Reagan canon to the MCU? I don't think so. Kamala's just been getting worse and worse? Yes. And the post-DNC fever is broken. Like, there's no...
Top of the morning, top of the morning.
There's no honeymoon period anymore. You know, we're really just... We're down to the brass tacks. This is where it's about performance. This is where it's about policy more than anything.
I'm in agony.
Which is why everything she's saying is the stuff she wants to actually do, which is super liberal, moderate Democrat stuff. Oh, spiders, where? Oh, they're under the rugs? Oh. Get them. Top of the morning.
Is a little-known guy outside of his home state, where Minnesota nice is a source of pride. But behind all of that folksy humor and flannel, Tim Walz is far from just being Mr. Nice Guy when it comes to needling Donald Trump.
He has to answer
Governor,
for
you
this.
obviously have spoken to voters all over your state for years.
Yeah.
What are you learning in a place like Georgia?
We're seeing explosion in small business growth. The one thing is workforce and childcare, because workers have to have childcare.
Campaigning with Tim Walz,
Don't do it.
finding his role in this historic campaign.
Would you be my running mate and let's get this thing on the road?
I would be honored, Madam Vice President.
After bursting onto the national stage with this word.
These guys are just weird.
Known as a folksy father of two from rural America, now a running mate who is not holding back.
Listen to the guy. He's talking about Hannibal Lecter and shocking sharks and just whatever crazy thing pops into his mind.
And finding his own rhythm with his new boss.
What'd you order?
Brisket and greens and mac and cheese.
What about you?
I had the brisket and coleslaw on this.
And what about the spice situation, the Tabasco? What's happening with that?
I'm gonna let him speak for himself.
The Vice President's growing peppers at her residence, so she's trying to like bring me along on this. You know, Minnesota peppers.
It's okay.
I'm getting there.
It's all good. You just do you.
I just have to ask you both about two standout moments, aside, of course, from the addresses that you both gave, but standout moments that were perhaps unexpected during
I
the
want to
convention.
talk about
You mentioned
funny
one
pictures
of them,
and
Governor.
silly images that I saw on my Twitter timeline. I don't want to talk about policy anymore.
on Gus. You were speaking, the camera caught him, so incredibly proud of you, so
No more
emotional,
policy. I'm
saying,
done with
that's
that.
my dad.
Yeah,
that was a beautiful
I don't know
moment.
as a father I could have ever imagined that. I'm grateful for so many reasons to be on this ticket, but that moment, to understand what was really important, to have my son feel a sense of pride in me, that I was trying to do the right thing. And it was, you try and protect your kids,
Thank you for the
it brings notoriety
2
and
months.
things, but it was just
Thank
such
you.
a visceral, emotional moment that I'm grateful I got to experience it, and I'm so proud of him. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of Hope. I'm proud of Gwen. She's a wonderful mother, and these are great kids. And I think the one thing is, talking about the era we're in, is our politics can be better. It can be different. We can show some of these things, and we can have families involved
It
in
can
this.
be
And
better
I
and
hope that
different.
there was I hope people felt
Please.
that out there, and I hope they hug their kids a little tighter, because you
Please
just
be
never know.
better and different
Life can
than
be
you
kind of
are
hard.
being.
And last question, Madam Vice President, the photograph
Better
that
and
has
different
gone
than Joe
viral.
Biden.
You were speaking, one of your grandnieces that you were just talking
Yes.
about was watching you accept
She's casting
the
a
nomination.
spell
You didn't
on this
explicitly
child.
talk about gender or race in your speech, but it obviously means a lot to a lot of people, and that viral picture really says it. What does it mean to you?
Blast.
I am running because I believe that I am the best
Kamala
person to do
Cannon.
this job at this moment. For all Americans, regardless of race and gender. But I did see that photograph, and I was deeply touched by it. And you're right, it's the back of her head, her two little braids, and then I'm in the front of the photograph, obviously speaking. And
I'm speaking.
it's very humbling. It's very humbling in many ways.
Did she talk to you about it afterwards?
Oh, she had a lot to talk about. She had a lot. She listened to everything, and she listens to everything.
She gave you your hot takes?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Uh-huh.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for your time.
Oh my God, that's it.
Thank you. Thank you, Dana. Thank you.
Wow.
This was Vice President Harris's first real unscripted setting where voters could see and hear her explain some of her policy positions now and how they differ from before she became vice president and why. And this was the first we heard those details about an extraordinary phone call from a president dropping out of the race and endorsing his vice president.
Oh, they differ. Oh, they differ. Wow. Please tell me it wasn't bad. Oh, it was bad. It was really bad.
To my friend and colleague, Abby Phillip, who is standing by with some of the best political minds in the business. Abby?
We have them all
Liberals
here,
are going to
Dana.
eat this up,
You've given us
and
a
then
lot to
Republicans
chew
are going to
on.
hit
Our hats off to you.
hard
Thank
on
you very
everything
much.
they've been talking about.
around, though. We
You
will make
think
sure to
we've
come
just
back
heard
to
the
you
beginning of the
throughout the next
Bordazar
hour. I
narrative?
wanna get
They're
in the
going
room here
max
to get some initial
Bordazar.
reactions with
They're
our
hitting
big panel. Dave
everything,
Baxter,
dude.
let's
They're
start
hitting
with you.
everything she's
What
going to
did you
talk
make
about. The
of
most lethal
how
military.
Vice President Harris
They're going to hit
did
Afghanistan again. This is a nightmare. They just dove headfirst into the worst, most reactionary narratives about their own campaign. This is a fucking train wreck. This is a disaster.
Of calm and
I'm being real.
comfortable comfort that we haven't seen before from her. We didn't see certainly the last time
They're
she ran.
gonna love
she was,
this.
She was very connected to her word. She seemed strong. She seemed competent. She seemed like someone who could be president of the United States. That was the first test.
All we're
thing
gonna
is,
hear
I know we
about
got a
is
lot of
flip-flop.
opinions here.
We have time for yours, don't
Yes,
worry.
but I think well, two things then. I think that she handled the issue of her changes or perceived changes in policy pretty well. I mean, I think the idea that her values have been the same and have been consistent was a good bridge there. One thing that I want to note is, we were asking the question earlier,
bridge.
how will she handle the president, and will she separate herself from the president?
That was,
and there might be
she
some
didn't. She became him.
Age. Does she want to be a continuation? That's what the Republicans will want to make her out to be. I'll give Scott the opportunity
committed
to
to
do
that.
it in a second. But as she
every
spoke,
way she committed to
I
that.
thought it showed a certain character the way she talked
You know,
about
she reminded me
Joe
more of
Biden.
Obama
She
personally.
didn't run
Yeah, I
away
wonder
from
why.
him. She gave him, I think, his due. She understands that there's some political risk to that.
That's what they keep
That actually
saying.
was elevating to me in a way that I hadn't expected. So I think on the whole, this was a good night. It wasn't a huge, I don't think she moved the ball that much forward, but she certainly
She
didn't
gained
fall
nothing.
back.
The do no harm principle
No.
of
She was basically on defense the entire time and ran to Joe Biden's policies and Joe Biden's narratives on everything from the border. I mean, his recent narratives, not even the 2020 narratives on the border, which were more pro-immigrant. Like, and you know, he won on being pro-immigrant.
Republicans are talking about, can she really do it? So how many more times? I don't know
Drone
how
strike
much that
queen, yeah.
matters. And I do get a little nervous that in the media we're preoccupied with like how much access, how many conversations is she going to have in the settings we deem most valuable to voters, when this is a campaign that is actually making a mark in an interesting way, reaching out to people directly.
but I said you have also spent a couple of times now
Wait. Let's
That's a ban for.
Yeah, we're in for it, chat. We're in for banger coverage on Fox News. Come on. The hogs are going to go wild.
I was against fracking, and I haven't done anything since that 2020. Didn't she
hit her, Janine?
What is she talking about, Joe?
She's lying, Judge, no question. I think we found there's a reason why Kamala Harris has avoided talking to the press for nearly 6 weeks since essentially becoming the Democratic nominee. You take away her teleprompter, and it's a train wreckalicious hot mess of a dumpster fire. A few things to unpack here from this interview. For starters, the opening to the interview, and I know you're on the air, but I watched.
We're going to get victory laps. She vindicated everything Republicans have been saying for the last few weeks. And so they're going to be hitting it. They're going to be tripling down. They're going to get weirder. And they're not going to have any argument because they still think that they're right about a lot of the things that they're saying. All Donald Trump talks about is the border. You can't be like, actually, you know what? He's kind of right about the border, but he sabotaged this bill that I made with his friends.
And she said she made it clear in 2020 that when she ran for president on a debate stage that she was not for banning fracking. Well, there's one problem. She wasn't even a candidate in 2020. She dropped out before then. I can't find any proof. Yes, exactly. And I can't find any proof. I looked for it. She said she supported fracking 4 years ago. It doesn't exist. In fact, the Biden-Harris administration on day one, Janine, banned fracking on federal land. So there goes that argument. But of course, Dana Bash didn't bother to bring that part up.
I was right,
and by the way,
Chad.
during a town hall during that campaign in 2019, Kamala Harris said she was, quote, 100% against banning fracking. The big picture here, Judge, and we've talked about this before.
Bordazar, baby. Frackalicious. I was right about how the DNC speech signaled no arms embargo. She did it again. No arms embargo. Do you support an arms embargo? I support Israel's right to defend itself no matter what. So yes, they're going to promise not to use the bombs we give them on Gazans and Palestinians in general. They're going to promise not to use them. But they will use them in southern Lebanon. They will use them in Syria. They will use them in Beirut, too. Tehran, even. Literally wherever. Where's next? They throw a dart at a world map and they bomb it.
Where after 2030,
And they go, there's Hamas there.
50% of the cars could be fossil fuel or gas fueled, and by 2040, 45. I mean, these are not flip-flops, Joe. These are lies. All right. I want to call for the SOT. Do we have something on the border? Okay, let's hear this.
Just one other question about something that you...
Yeah, and until the ceasefire, they will use our bombs to commit genocide.
Whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced.
We have laws
that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
This woman is lying. The fact that she says our laws are meant to be followed and enforced, what, you decided that all the laws about the border shouldn't be followed and there should be consequences, transnational criminal organizations? What the hell have you done
She's gonna crawl through the camera.
past 3.5 years?
Get her.
Go ahead, Joe.
Precisely, Janine. And this
Go
was
ahead,
so
Joe.
horribly produced, by the way, by CNN. Tim Russert, when I used to watch Meet the Press, because I was a dork in college and apparently thought it was cool to watch Meet the Press on Sunday mornings instead of Sports Center, for example. I did both, actually.
I wasn't so hip
Tim
either.
Russert used to...
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
But Russert used to play back clips, right, for a politician that he was interviewing. He would play the literal words of that person and then have that person react to it. Why CNN, particularly since this had post-edit, in other words, it was a packaged type of presentation, it was pre-taped. Why didn't they play her words for her and then have her react to it? That would have been so much more effective. And then she talked about also that she's maintaining her values. Okay, I guess that means she does want to abolish ICE, because she said that on tape too. That means she does believe that illegal border crossings should be legal. That means she wants to provide health insurance to all those who enter this country illegally, for free, mind you. That means she wants to end the private health industry. That means she thinks that sanctuary cities work. That means she thinks that men can actually get pregnant. And that means she thinks that gun buyback programs work, and raising taxes on small business won't result in higher prices for consumers or anything. I mean, we could go on here, Janine, but we got finite time here. The bottom line is that we will not see Kamala Harris do another interview before that debate.
All connects. First of all, I think she will probably do another interview before then. I just don't expect it to be any better than this. And it all connects back to Bordazar. Men can get pregnant, Bordazar. Bordazar, she said men can get pregnant. That means because the borders are at the border. She's getting them pregnant at the border. Versus when Donald Trump was sterilizing women at the border. But we don't talk about that, obviously, because, no one does real journalism in America.
We've got some sound here, I think, on Walz, her emotional support guy.
The idea that you said that you were in war. Did you misspeak as the campaign has said?
We're just digging deep on the last whole week of Republican talking points in every way.
These weapons of war, and my wife, the English teacher, told me my grammar's not always correct. But again, if it's not this, it's an attack on my children for showing love for me, or it's an attack on my dog. I'm not going to do that. And the one thing I'll never do is I'll never demean another member's service.
This isn't about grammar. This is about a lie.
He's playing the victim here, Tim Walz, isn't he? Like, they're attacking me because I misspoke. You didn't misspeak, pal. You left your unit when they were deployed to a war zone because you didn't want to fight anymore. Grammar, please. They're so phony, inauthentic.
Unfortunately, that's all the time that we have left this evening. Be sure to catch me on the 5.
They were really trying to shut him out.
Eastern. Thanks for being with us. Greg Gutfeld is next. Have a great night, everybody.
We gotta hear it. We gotta hear what he has to say. This is his night, dude. This is his night. He's having the best night of his fucking life right now.
Thank you. Could somebody help that poor woman who fainted?
He got everything he wanted out of this fucking interview.
Happy Thursday, everyone. This fall, Chris Christie will teach a class at Yale on how to run a political campaign.
Uh-oh.
There he'll discuss everything he's ever done and then say, don't do that.
Okay, that's kind of funny.
The class will only be open to 10 students because that's the most that'll fit in there with him.
Got him. I knew it.
The class will be very inclusive, considering Christie is fluent in over 8 sandwiches.
The double. It's even
and
funnier
any
the
student
second
bringing
time.
an apple should be aware he won't accept it unless it's dipped in caramel.
He's a friend.
Kamala Harris has been roundly criticized for bringing Tim Walz along with her for tonight's CNN interview.
That's so funny.
But supporters say America's used to her dragging around a creepy old white guy.
Oh yeah, Tim Walz is creepy, not you.
Harris has claimed she once worked at McDonald's, but people are finding it very hard to verify this. Although one former employee says she did put him in jail. Why would she lie? Anyway, a Venezuelan migrant gang was caught on camera taking over an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado. Authorities are at a loss on how to negotiate with people so willing to risk their security deposit. You know, I like that joke, and I resent you for not laughing.
I approve this resentment.
Thank you. Laundry experts may have uncovered where your missing socks have gone. They may have been sucked into improperly inserted lint filters, although some men might have just put them down the front of their pants. Colorado man survived a night alone on a mountain after his coworkers left him behind during an office retreat. Hell, why didn't we think of this, huh?
Brian Kilmeade.
I saw that one coming.
Leave him on a mountain.
According to the U.S. Surgeon General, parenting can be hazardous to your health due to high levels of stress.
Did you not watch the interview or something?
Especially when your kids hate your guts. Yeah, just keep it on there.
How do you look like that?
And finally, sources say Barron Trump will not follow in his father's footsteps and instead will go to school somewhere in New York. Hunter Biden, however, still plans on following his father's footsteps by banging Jill. All right. Let's do a monologue. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because then all I do is stare at my ass. But what if Trump wins? Who would he ask to join his merry pirate ship of radicals? What about Elon Musk? This week, former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan mentioned that Musk expressed an interest in being part of the second Trump administration. I wonder if he and Elon have a great relationship. Is he great? Is he a totally unusual character? And do we have to cherish our geniuses?
He couldn't have been too impressed.
If Elon and I
like shit.
What?
have a great relationship.
He's glazing.
He's great.
Elon.
He is a totally unusual character. Do you know Elon at all?
I don't.
He's great. And he's smart. And we have to cherish our geniuses. You know, we don't have too many of them, right?
He's playing
He's right.
Civilization.
We don't have enough geniuses. But
Brian, kill me again. Double.
This Trump-Musk matchup is like one of those videos where an owl becomes friends with a lion. You know? I just love unexpected matchups. You know, like this.
Wow, man,
Or
this sucks, dude. Oh my God.
And this. But would Trump put Musk in the cabinet?
I'd put him in the cabinet, absolutely, but I don't know how he could do that with all the things he's got going. But he can sort of, as the expression goes, consult with the country and give you some very good ideas.
What expression?
He's right. Musk could offer a ton of good ideas. Plus, it would be fun to see how many government workers he gets pregnant.
Ew.
But if you don't think Musk is qualified, remember, he runs X and Tesla and launches rockets. The only thing Biden has been known to launch is an underwear rocket after his Metamucil smoothie.
He ran Twitter into the ground.
Hunter to the bar in Star Wars.
He's playing Star Wars Outlaws.
Not a president cabinet. Be a nice change from the Biden-Harris White House, which is less a cabinet and more a padded cell.
He's
Think
literally
about
saying
it.
a
Mayor
billionaire
Pete,
should be in
Blinken,
power.
Raimondo,
Imagine simping for a billionaire to be in office, like Elon Musk, dude. Is he not talking about the interview? Why is he not talking about the interview? Is this pre-recorded? Is Gutfeld not live anymore?
Multiple fields. Get the best CEOs or other great thinkers instead of lifelong politicians. Make it the opposite of the Biden clown show, where they cast for diversity instead of brilliance and didn't care about the end result. And it seems like Trump's already thinking that way. Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. have already joined his White House transition team. That's 2 former Dems working for Trump, which is akin to the Dems like Maxine Waters joining the Aryan Brotherhood. Welcome aboard. And apparently the pair have said they'd contribute to the Trump lineup in their fields of expertise. For RFK, it could be chronic diseases or legal reform or how to get
Tulsi Gabbard's
sick
a
abs.
warmonger. I don't care. What do you mean?
And for Tulsi, why not foreign policy? It'd be nice to have a Secretary of State who can bring us peace without leaving a trail of unfortunate suicides.
Oh. They are literally the same in foreign policy. That is so funny. Tulsi Gabbard was the DNC chair when Hillary Clinton was running for office. That's nuts.
Rock?
Or co-chair.
How about Larry Kudlow as Treasury Secretary? He's smarter than Janet Yellen, and his haircut wasn't brought to you by Tupperware. Nice. Judge Jeanine could be Attorney General. Finally, we could deport her.
That's nuts. That's nuts. That's nuts, Judge Jeanine, Attorney General. That's so funny. Oh, what?
Reflect America than outsourcing an important job to an Indian. Tyrus could head up Homeland Security. Hell, he's big enough to be the Department of Homeland Security.
Part-time.
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 Kat could be the Secretary of Interior because she never leaves her house. Kilmeade could head up the Department of Transportation. After all, his career is a train wreck. How about Pete Hegseth to head up Veterans Affairs? You know he'll uphold the Constitution when he's got it tattooed on his arm.
Dude, this sucks. This is literally an episode tailored for Fox News bingers. Just like every joke is something about like his coworkers or Joy Behar. Like this is just entertainment and comedy for people who only watch daytime and late night news. Daytime TV programs and late night news. TV watchers, TV enjoyers.
Don't be rude.
I'm in shock. Here's a good take from Emma Vigeland on the interview. Every question from Dana Bash has been framed from the right. And then when Harris dodges her more specific question about whether or not she'd change policy about arms for Israel, Bash just moves on. She's right. There was like no policy. You don't need that. Literally everything is bad about that interview. I don't know what they're doing on Gutfeld, I'll be honest. Yeah, this was bad. She ran to the right, ran to Joe Biden. And it makes sense. I mean, the Democratic Party is like evangelizing Joe Biden. He died and now he's an angel. And, you know, he's like a patron saint of the Democratic Party. Thank you, Joe Biden. That was literally like one of the themes of the DNC. All they did, we Joe. They literally had the signs. We heart Joe. There was a guy who was hitting a woman and hitting people who were holding up arms embargo, the arms embargo sign. They were hitting them with We Heart Joe signs. That's what Kamala continues to do. Literally is such a perfect analogy of what she's doing to anyone who cares about Gaza, really. A ceasefire is bipartisan. It's popular. But she frames it, you know, when she was heckled earlier, I think yesterday or earlier today, I don't remember, in Michigan? No, in Georgia, in Savannah. She said we need a ceasefire so we can have a hostage deal. That was the first thing. She's like, we need a hostage deal and a ceasefire. She's almost trying to frame it like the prison swap from Russia from a few weeks ago. Like, we need a hostage deal and a ceasefire. And it's like, she was heckled again. It's just more protests, which is good, and it's not going to stop. There needs to be an arms embargo, or they're going to continue their multi-front war and continue to try to drag America into it. And the State Department knows this. Like, Joe Biden knows this. Joe Biden knows that Benjamin Netanyahu is doing this. Like, off topic, how old were you when you had your first weed? I was only 21. Shrimp and grits. You wanted to know? Did you see the video of a dude getting beat up at a Trump rally for holding a picture of Trump with Hitler's face on him? That's funny. I'm pretty in shock at how bad that interview was, though. I just don't know. Okay, Greg Gutfeld's really hammering home on the Elon Musk cabinet position. So the last thing I want to talk about is Elon Musk has been replying to people with AI-generated images of themselves. Which is like low-key, I mean, it's super rapey, I'll be honest. It's really gross. And it should, like, this should be, like, illegal, I think. Stephen King says, oops, SpaceX launches are on hold after a booster rocket toppled over in flames while landing Wednesday. Just, like, lib shit, you know. SpaceX is an incompetent corporation, many such cases. Just funneling government money into a private organization that disappears it into vagueness. And, you know, it pumps out projects sometimes that work, sometimes. So that's good enough. And then he got so mad he just did this. He said, dick. And then he was like, yeah, Steven, guess the prompt. Ew. Oh, God. Stephen King chomping on an eggplant with cocaine falling out of his mouth onto a pile of money. He is in the middle of the woods and there is a clown in the background. Elon Musk is a genius. There is a clown. And then he is eating the eggplant. I thought the eggplant was coming, I'll be honest. Because what I mean, you know what, this is super gross. Like, this is just like really weird. And the fact that he's like encouraging other people to make this is really like legally very muddy and very weird. I don't think this is legal at all. I'm going to be honest. Yeah, Steven, guess the prompt. That's so weird. This is so weird. Yeah, we should put this guy in government. In the government. He's like a 14-year-old, dude. And Trump was like, yo, he's a genius. And Gutfeld's like, hey, I love him. He's a genius. He did it to the Supreme Court justice in Brazil that was part of the decision to potentially ban Twitter in Brazil if they don't comply with their misinformation
This
laws.
is insane. Bitch Steven was, is an addict wrote the shining about him being an addict. It's like, good WTF. Not supporting Steven. My mom is a big Steven fan, so that's how I know.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't really care. Stephen King's a lib. But it's just, like, very bizarre to do this, is my point. It's it's a really antisocial, diseased reaction to humanity. It's very gross. He made an AI image of the Supreme Court justice in prison. And he said, one day this picture of you in prison will be real. What did Stephen King do? He just said that SpaceX had an explosion. He was like making fun of SpaceX because a rocket blew up. Or like a rocket engine blew up. And then Elon Musk was like, "Oh yeah, well here's a picture of you with a eggplant in your mouth." Like, this is disgusting. It's super gross. It's just perverted. And then doing the jail one is also weird and just like immature. I just don't get it. But it also is like literally the only reason to use AI if you're like a billionaire who wants to make images of people who you don't like, and you're like really emotionally immature and kind of stupid, and you love jingling keys effectively in front of yourself. Like, he made the website to be able to do this for this reason. What else is the reason other than AI generating himself? Maybe like his wife coming back to him or something? His family being whole? Him actually winning his custody battle? Like, what else is he generating? Oh yeah, here's Trump at Arlington. Very beautiful. A beautiful dead guy. You're dead. And I'm so sorry. One day, I'll bring you back, I promise. And then I will deport all of the immigrants after. Anyway, chat, listen. I'm done for tonight. I was keeping it quick. I wanted to cover more before the interview, but I was getting distracted. I will be back. What day is it? Thursday? I'll be back tomorrow. And we'll get more into it because there's still a lot more to cover. There's still the Trump Dr. Phil interview where he was talking about how God like saved him and shit. There's gonna be a ton of Republican coverage of the interview, more pre-debate coverage because that is also creeping up on us. It's gonna be 11 days as of tomorrow. Lots of stuff going on. We will be covering it. Anyway, have a great night, chat. I will see you tomorrow.